You've been doing all the tools and techniques, and yet you're not manifesting. You're doing affirmations, visualization, scripting, journaling, SATs. If you're already a law of assumption student, um, and yet you feel nothing is happening. It's been few weeks or few months, and now you're adding desperation, more and more desperation to the situation, and then you're going into that negative loop that, hey, I said this wrong thing, and so now my manifestation is not going to happen. You're watching many, many hours of YouTube manifestation videos, and in a way, you're sort of clueless. I've been there, and let me tell you that there is this one critical step which actually should be the first and foremost step to your manifestation journey to conscious creation. So, before we go ahead with it, hi, I'm Nidhi. I'm a mindset and law of assumption coach, and we will talk all things conscious creation on this channel. Just a disclaimer, I'm trying to make this video as crisp as possible while also not trying to cut corners because, like I said, it's the most critical step according to me, and you must be already resonating with it. What's the point of, investing so many precious hours of our life into something which we're not even sure is meant for us? So, watch it till the end and with honesty. Well, if you take care of this single step and the most critical step, according to me and my experience, your manifestations become almost effortless and like a 90% done. And then you can add your tools and techniques and other things to it. But this is like the biggest base and foundation. This is, in a way, all the work that universe, God, the higher self wants you to do. Also, if you do not take care of this step, then it's almost guaranteed that no matter how many tools and techniques, no matter how many hours of visualizations and number of affirmations, robotic or otherwise, you're trying to conjure up the feeling, anything that you do, you will not be able to do authentically. And it's almost guaranteed that you will not manifest. By chance, if you manifest, it will not stay with you. And let me tell you, I wrote a scripting letter and I'll make a video of it and upload it next week, most likely. I will put the link of that video in description. Do watch that video. It's a scripting letter that I wrote about 2, 3 years ago, and there were about 5, 6 goals. I'll need to refer to that letter. So I don't remember exactly how many total goals were there, but I can vouch for this. That three of the goals, which took care of this step that I'm going to talk about today in this video, were taken care of. 100% of those things came true. And it was not like, oh, this was supposed to happen anyway. I mean, when I wrote that, it just seemed like some fantasy. Like I'm taking myself, transporting myself to some magic universe where all of this is happening, which means it was not so obvious that it would happen. Okay. And I wrote those things down. And there were few other things, like 2 to 3 things, which did not take care of the single critical step that I'm referring to in this video. And 100% of those things, those 2, 3 things, goals, did not come true, even till now. And those other goals took time, I think 6 months to 8 months. And those were sort of bigger goals for that time, for the phase of my life that I was going through. And it happened magically, like unexplainable ways. So I'll leave the link in the description. Do watch that so you understand and you take the step very, very seriously, right? I'm going to reveal it, and that is clarity. Clarity. I know it sounds very easy and simple. Well, it sounds simple, but think about it. How much time of your life have you actually spent into understanding if you're clear or unclear about your goals and desires that you're wanting to manifest? Pursuing your goals without clarity is like foot on the gas pedal while being blindfolded. Now, two things can happen. Number one, you will freeze and you will not move because you know you can't see. I think this is a better option. The second option is that I feel I'm blindfolded, but everyone else seems to be blindfolded, but I have a steering wheel in my hands and an accelerator below my foot. Maybe I'm supposed to drive, everyone else is driving. So let me drive while I keep banging around. Let that sink in. Now, do you see why your life almost feels like someone else's? You're applying brute force and you're just trying to be good husband, good wife, good colleague, good professional, good friend, a good son or daughter, but you're following someone else's manual. You are swapping authenticity with morality. just playing by society's rules. Any different playbook feels like tremendous fear, anxiety, self doubt, almost like death. So, does this resonate with you? Let me ask you this question. Are you aware of your most painful aspects of your life today? What are your most nagging, burning questions? Congratulations. If you do have burning questions, half the battle is won because you're clear that you're confused and unclear. Because there are a second group of people who are very sad, depressed, anxious, and have suppressed emotions, but they walk through life like a zombie, because they're unclear but confident. Being clear that you're not clear is a very good place to start with. In this video, I'm going to give you a simple framework to get clarity, and it's worked beautifully. This framework has come through my own life's experiences, and I've dealt with some complicated situations. So, I have tested this out, and I really, really hope and I'm very sure that this is going to work for you. Stay till the end of the video, and you'll get amazing clarity on those nagging questions which you might have been ruminating now for months. By the end of the video, you should feel light, more focused, and like some weight is lifted off your shoulders. So, are you ready? So, let's start with clarity. Just close your eyes, breathe for 5 seconds. Ask yourself, what is clarity? For me, I think clarity is just aligning with your soul's desire. So, essentially, soul's desires. I think all desires are like destiny, you know. Like, why do you feel excited to become an Olympian, maybe? And why do I feel excited to maybe become a singer? Or studying law of assumption and talking to you guys? Like, why everyone has these different goals, almost something that you can't let go of, like it possesses you. There's something inside you which keeps nudging you to take that very unsafe, quote unquote, unsafe step towards that goal. In Neville's words, look upon all desires as the spoken words of God, and every word or desire a promise. What he's trying to say is that a desire is proof that it exists already. You just have to allow it. So it's very, very important that you get clarity about what is soul's alignment. Now, before we get into trying to understand how do we get clarity about our goals, let us just see what are the different aspects or characteristics of this thing called clarity. One very important thing to remember is that when I say clarity, it doesn't mean like a final destination. It's not like, okay, I will know my final destination. It may happen for some people, like the larger umbrella goal of your life. But for a lot of people, it's an ever evolving clarity, right? Like, for example, you are on Highway 1 and you're traveling, or you're going to New York and you're on the highway. Now you cannot see New York, but you can see few meters ahead of you. So the required clarity that the universe, or whatever term that you want to use, are comfortable with, wants you to have or act upon, is those few meters. So do not worry about that final destination, because as you cover those few meters, you're going to see further, few more meters, and you can keep driving along. So clarity is peeling it layer by layer, right? So remember that. Number two, clarity may never seem logical. Like, for example, you won't believe I moved to a new city in the middle of COVID all by myself. And I didn't really have folks back here. Like, I lived in Mumbai for 20 years and I moved to Bangalore in the middle of COVID. And all my friends were like, are you sure? Why? And number three, when you feel clarity, you feel light, you feel certainty, but it's not feverish. It's calm, it's peaceful. You just know that in your body. Now, what I want you to do is make a list of 4 to 5 goals that you're eager to achieve or you're actively trying to pursue or manifest. Pause that video if you're not sure of those 4 5 goals. Pause the video, write it down, bring it into your absolute awareness. This will really help us because you're spending time watching this video. I really want this to be helpful. Like I said, by the end of the video, you should be at a much better place. I want you to win. I want you to have all the abundance that you truly deserve in your life, right? So I don't want you to waste a lot of time doing these tools and techniques without taking care of this most important step of clarity. Like, whether it is your goal or the society's goals, right? So first, make a list of those 4 to 5 goals is good. If you can't find 4 to 5, okay, 2 to 3 goals that you're actively trying to pursue. Ready? Now, what we're going to do is we're going to put these different goals into 2 different buckets. Either it's going to be an SI or it's going to be an EI. Okay? I call it as soul intention. And EI is, you guessed it right, ego intention. Now, ego is a much, in a way, abused word. Everyone keeps using this term ego. What I mean by ego here is that personality that you've built from your childhood, which has been very kind. It has developed many coping mechanisms, many ways of survival, right? It's helped you survive, right? So it's basically coming from the primitive part of our brain, which used to help us in surviving many thousand years ago. But today we don't have a tiger running behind us. And I'm sure you've heard this analogy multiple times. But just to remind you, right, that you don't need to fight, flight, freeze all the time. But we think of an email, we think of that phone call, we think of a delay in a reply in a message as a threat. And our body goes into these three responses. And so the ego is constantly doing this, this inner critic. By the way, we will talk about nervous system and all of these things in the videos coming up. So stay tuned and keep commenting, right? If you're watching this video, are you resonating? I'm so eager to help you because, I've gone through my own life and seen where I stumbled, where did I waste time, what was so painful. Like, pain is okay, but I was suffering so much. So, sorry, I digress, but wait, bear with me. So, ego is that part. So, it'll always give you ideas, make you act, react because it's trying to protect you, whereas you may never need protection because what it's imagining is not real. All right. So ego is all about survival. Ego is all about protection. That is ego. That is what I mean by ego. Did you understand? Let me know. Now, soul intention is, and sorry, one more thing. Ego is mostly driven by logic. And then soul is your a very quiet but peaceful, calm voice, which you hear when you're still, when you have silence, when you have some space, right? Now, this is just an overall idea, but let us now see what a soul intention is. I can give you some characteristics. By the way, workshop it when I'm giving you these characteristics as you're listening to me. So, I'm going to now tell you about how soul intention feels like. If you think one of your goals are really, part of this category, become aware of it. Right now, just become hyper aware of it. And after I've described soul intention and ego intention, I'll give you 2 examples from my own life where how a manifestation succeeded out of the blue. It was an impossible thing to happen, but it happened. And how something else, which was the most obvious thing, but did not happen because it was egotistical. It was that intention was born out of my ego, right? So, first, soul intention. Like I mentioned, soul intention is just peaceful. An intention, it's peaceful. So, everything, when we contrast it, perhaps we understand, right? So, when you feel hot, you know what cold is. So, peace is absence of chaos, absence of feverishness. It's just calm, peaceful, right? That's the voice of the soul. So, when you think of this goal on your list, does it seem peaceful? Or does it have, characteristics of anxiety, desperation? Mind you, there's one more thing. Sometimes the goals are born out of your soul, like your soul wants you to take that path, but the ego hijacks it. That's also there. Sometimes it's a soul intention, but the ego has just done the cover up and it's completely hijacked it. So we'll become aware of that. But that's slightly more complex. Let's first look at this plain blank. That look at any goal that you have on this list. Does it seem peaceful or does it seem like chaotic and desperate? Number 2, does this intention feel personal or is it like, I'm naturally detached? I'll give you some, like a very simple example. Let's say you enjoy the festive period. Let's say you enjoy Christmas. Now, maybe throughout the year, you are excited about Christmas. You know, you're 6 months away from Christmas and you take note, oh, Christmas is just 6 months away and I'm going to travel and I'm going to do this. It's going to be time with my new husband or whatever, right? Like, I'm going to do this. Um, but are you making it personal? Are you trying to, you know, are you trying to effort to 25th December, or do you know that it's going to appear on its own? Because there is no guarantee, right? How do you know 25th December will appear? We are on a mud ball called Earth and it's spinning at high speed around the sun. And, the sun has always risen, it's never forgotten. So everything is happening with like precision, accuracy. But we never know, right? We are not making a heartbeat. We're not even making a breath happen. So how do we know that 25th December this year will happen? We don't know, but you're just so peaceful about it. Hey, I love Christmas. And yeah, whenever I think of Christmas, I'm just excited. I'll do this and that. You're not trying to effort to, like, let me do these five more things. And so Christmas will come closer to me and it'll skip a few months. You're not doing that, right? So this is like a soul desire. You got my point? Let me know again. Now take the same Christmas example. Actually, it's so basic and so like funny that the third thing is you're not trying to control the outcome. Are you trying to control the outcome for Christmas? Ask yourself, like, it's just, or you think of any of the other goals that have manifested in your life. I'm very sure you were not trying to control, you were just flowing through it. And then number four is that you are taking action, but you're not taking forceful action. You're not taking action to control the outcome. It's inspired choice action, right? And then, of course, number five attached to this is that you're not outcome focused. You're not outcome focused. See, when the intention is a soul intention, like, in India, we speak about Gita a lot, where there is this one verse in Gita which says, Karm kiye ja phal ki ichha mat kar, is like, keep doing your karma, or keep taking the action, but don't await the outcome. And it's very bewildering because how do we take action towards the goal if we're not motivated to achieve it? But this is why it is. If it is your soul's intention, it doesn't feel personal. It almost like if you have to verbalize it, if you have to add some vocabulary to express it, you'll realize you feel that this is God's desire. And so it's His job to fulfill it. My job is only to allow it to happen. And so it's not personal. It's not my desire anyway. The Almighty planted this seed in my head, in my heart. And so it's His job to make it happen. And it comes from a place of humility, right? You know that I'm such a small creature on this planet that I don't even make my own heart beat, right? So how can I control the outcome of these desires? So it's God's desire, it's my soul's intention. The only job is to get out of my own way. That's all. Number six is that surrender. We've all heard about surrender so much. Surrender just happens naturally. What I discussed in the last point, that it is God's desire. So He will make it happen. And I just have to take a chill pill and I just have to relax. And so I'm surrendered. I'm not thinking about, oh, this happened, which implies that it's never going to manifest. And so this is such a bad thing that happened. Well, it was not my desire in the first place, but I feel nice about it. I feel peaceful about it. It's the universe's desire. And so it will make it happen. So whatever is happening must be for it to manifest. It might seem like the wrong step to my ego, but I know only so much. My knowledge is just so limited that who knows? That's number six. And last is that trust comes easy. 25th December, Christmas will come. You're just trusting. Are you like checking your phone or your calendar every day? Hey, has the day moved or not? Is the night going to come or not? Today, is the sun going to rise or not? Is it going to set or not? Am I supposed to do something? Take a spaceship to sun and tell the sun that, hey, Christmas should come, and so please let's make it fast. Are you doing any of those things? No, right? So these are the seven things. If you have, like, look at your 4, 5 goals, maybe replay these seven characteristics, hear them again, feel them, take it slow, and maybe even write down against each goal write down the characteristics that resonated from this list of 7. If you find 5, 6, 7, all of them, you know that it's your soul's intention. I bet now at this point, how do I know this framework will work? I know that if you're being honest with yourself and if you've allowed yourself some silence, you're not watching it just, like with 1/3 of your attention, you would have already realized that many of these characteristics don't match with your goal that you're obsessing with, which is not manifesting. Is that how it is? It is, right? Okay, to make it even more clearer, now let's see what is an egoic intention. Intention born out of your ego, which you might think is my intention. In fact, it happened with me. One of my intentions, like some of my intentions in my scripting letter that I was talking about, they looked so obvious and such nice to have things like, hey, yeah, of course, why will I not want to have those things? But there were the society's intentions which are planted in me, not to blame or shame anyone, but just being aware of what it is and not wasting time behind things which are inauthentic and were never mine. They were never meant for my heart and soul. So, ready? First characteristic of ego intention, feverishness. It has to happen. It has to happen. If it doesn't happen, then oh my God, don't even ask me that question. It is so scary. What do you mean by if it doesn't happen? It is so scary that I don't even want to imagine that if it doesn't happen, what will happen? Is that how it is? Or are you able to say if it doesn't happen, it's fine, it's fine? It was never mine in the first place. No. If you say, if this XYZ, let's say one of your goals is to get a raise in your salary in your current job. If I don't get the raise, then what will happen? Well, oh my God, my wife will be angry. I'll be a bad husband. I will think I'm a failure. I'm going to retire in like 15 years. All of those stories. Dude, you wanted abundance, you wanted freedom and this abundant flow of money. Why have you added the condition that you should get that money from a raise in your current like salary to your current job? Number 2 is attachment. Same, like, feverishness. So I'm very attached. I'm monitoring it very, very frequently and very often. If I don't see a sign of my perception of this goal moving in the positive direction, I feel sad. If I feel that it's moving in the right direction, I feel happy. If I got that text from my SP, I feel happy. If I do not receive the reply, I feel sad. This is attachment and it feels miserable. Number 3 is lack of trust in yourself, or you can say in your higher self or God. You're constantly checking why. Why are you constantly checking if it's 25th December is going to come? We've spoken about all this quite at length in the soul's intention. So if you're forwarding, I would want you to go back to the soul's intention because here I'm going to just, be slightly faster. Fourth is you're trying to control the outcome. Basically, you're efforting a lot. You're doing too many things out of reaction. This is not inspired action. You take it very personally. That's number 5. You're taking it personally. If it happens, it's my achievement. If it doesn't happen, I'm a failure. You're branding yourself basis this goal. That's an ego intention. So if you want to be a topper in your university, then if I don't do it, then I'm a failure, I'm a bad son, I let my parents down, whatever. That's just very personal. And you're branding yourself basis this. So that's a very ego based. Here is what it is, right? Like, who told you that being a topper in your university means it's a great thing to do? If the world's best painters and musicians wanted to do the same, would you not think it would be a tragedy? Like, we're trying to measure every human being on the same metric or the scale, and it's not fair. So where is this idea coming from? It's coming from the society, right? You want validation and approval, and that's number 6. Like, this goal is very charged with validation and approval. That's an ego intention. And the last one, point number 7, is you're constantly looking for science proof evidence. So out of your 4, 5 goals, how many of those goals you're constantly looking for science evidence proof? I really want you to do this. Trust me, you will feel by now, if you've had light bulb moments, if you're feeling lighter, please comment, let me know so that I can talk to you in ways that you understand better, right? Because look, if it is an ego intention, no tools and techniques are going to work because it's not your soul's desire. Even if you brute force through it, yes, it might happen, but it'll not stay with you. And finally, anything that you want to manifest is for that feeling. If I manifest that apartment, I will feel free, abundant. I will have clean, beautiful space where I can live the way I want to live. I can meditate, I can work out, I can do all those things. I can decorate it the way I want. That is the feeling. What is the feeling? Feeling is of freedom, right? Peace, home, safe. Even if you manifest an apartment, if it is not your soul's desire, if it's just because of society says that by this age you must have an apartment, otherwise I'm a failure, I'm not a good husband or a son, you might just fall into deeper trouble. Okay, one example. Let me take the example of moving to this because I took reference in the middle of the video that I moved to a new city in the middle of COVID. Now, this is a fantastic example of soul intention. I am from Mumbai. I lived 2 decades of my life there, so you can imagine I was pretty well settled in Mumbai. I'd done college there. I had loads of friends. I knew the entire city. It's a very safe city. And in fact, my brother was never in the country. He studied abroad. And he always nudged me that, hey, come abroad. There are so many opportunities. It's a nice, it'll be nice. But I always said, forget country. I'm never going to leave Mumbai. Mumbai is my oxygen. So I was so in love or attached with the city. I don't know what was happening as I ran startups. I did have a founder journey. 8 years of my life, I was an entrepreneur, and I ran 2 startups. And when I started my startup journey, every time I took a flight to Bangalore and I landed, my heart just felt very peaceful. There were, of course, logical reasons that I like the people here, I like the ecosystem here, many things. But mainly, my heart would feel peaceful. And then in Bombay, as I land, it would now feel very restless, like it's not home anymore. And this kept happening. And when COVID happened, I said, this is a complete disruption. I was building a travel startup, so there's complete disruption. This is the best time to make that move. And trust me, my Bangalore journey has taught me so much. So many strangers came to help me in ways that, I can't explain. Even the closest of your family and friends will not go out of their way to help you and support you so much. It really taught me trust, and I love the city. The weather is amazing and it's done a ton of good to me, and I don't regret it at all. And trust me, when I shifted here, I didn't have any support. I was not shifting here with anyone. I was doing it all by myself. And it brought me, and till today, it brings me a lot of peace. I just feel very good being here. And you know that if you've lived in a city for 20 years, you can't just uproot yourself and go to some other city and claim that you feel so nice, right? And just one more important information, that I'd actually moved to Bangalore as for my first job in 2006. And I hated the city. It was too slow for me. I was from Mumbai and it was like very fast, and Bangalore seemed to be like, oh, it's so slow. And I ran back to Mumbai within 9 months. And this time, when my heart was nudging me, I moved, and this seems like the perfect decision. I love the place where I stay. It's surrounded by nature. It seems like a hill station. It's a month of it's like a summer month here, but it just rained today in the evening, and so nice, cool, like this cool breeze. It's so amazing. So that's my first example of soul intention. Not logical. You had all those characteristics. It felt like peace. I had surrendered. I was not outcome focused. It was inspired, joyous action. It was not, everyone, when I told people, my friends said, I'm moving to Bangalore, they said, are you serious? Like, why? Why? Have you lost it? And number 2, now let me give you an example of a goal which did not happen because it was born out of my ego. So in India, we have these institutions like your Ivy League called IIMs, Indian Institute of Management. If you want to pursue a post graduation or an MBA, that's the place to go. And so I really wanted to get into IIMs after my graduation. And now, when I tell you this goal, it seems like the most obvious goal, right? Like, hey, it's such a nice thing. Why would you not want to go into IIMs? Which student will not want to go into IIMs, right? We should want to go to the best institute. But let me tell you this, that what were my reasons today when I look back and I ask myself that what were my reasons? Like, why did I want to get into IIMs? The reasons were this, that I didn't want to be a lawyer, doctor, engineer, or a scientist. So, okay, let me do management. And if I'm doing management, I should do it from the best college because I'm academically very strong. I do well in everything that I do. I'm so talented, I'm so capable, there is so much potential. And if I get into IIMs, for sure, I'm going to get a good job. Good job means I'm going to get a good salary package, like they say. I'm set. But hey, which job will you get? How miserable your life will be. You might get like $1 million. I'm just saying, like, okay, you get $1 million, but the job is soul sucking. What about that? No, I just this is like the mecca of my life. Once I just get into IIMs, I don't have to worry about anything else. My parents will be so proud of me. Our financial struggles will be gone forever, as if every IIM student all around the world is financially free and all of them are doing so well. That's not the case. But it's all born out of ego. So this is an example, but of course, a lot of times when we don't have clarity, it's good to be clear so that you know that I need to experiment. What happens then is that you're not pursuing or manifesting these goals with this madness and causing anxiety and depression. You're not pushing anxiety and depression inside you, right? You're aware that, hey, I'm not clear, so I'm not chasing. So the name of the channel, Clear Before You Chase. So you're sure that I'm not clear. So here is what I'm going to do. I'm going to experiment and be very aware and observant of what's happening. What am I liking? What am I not liking so much? What is seems like my life feels like home, feels like I get into a state of flow very often. It's fun. I can work very hard, but it seems effortless versus something which is no matter how much I try and I do it well, but I don't feel fulfilled. All these are things and traits that you should keep a track of. So I really hope that you have some clarity about if, whether out of those 4, 5 goals, you're clear, you've striked off what the goals that are born out of your ego. And so you say that, oh, okay, I'm now clear about these other goals, which are born out of my soul, and I'm going to pursue them. Or you say that I'm completely confused and I have no idea. So what I'm going to do is now be aware and not chase a goal and just experiment. That's also a good place to be. So, again, please to leave your comments. I'd love to read your comments. If I can help you in any way, put your questions. I'll try my best to help you out. And very, very important, in the description, you will find a link to reach me for a one on one coaching. I have 5 complimentary coaching sessions of 30 minutes each because we're just starting this channel. I really want to connect with you, talk to you, eager to help and share from my own experiences. Thank you for watching. I hope you learned something today.